Hey, this is Eric Baumgartner. We're back here in the Medicine Wheel in Ojai, making the final preparations for today with the Shamanic Leadership Council and tonight with the new moon ceremony. Some of you may be already on your way up here, pilgrimaging up to this sacred valley and hearing the call of all that's happening on this sacred day. And for anyone who's unable to make it, and just for those of you who are on your way, I just wanted to give you a little insight into what's been happening up here. As you can see, the fire pit is coming together, where before there was just earth. Now we've got all these stones that have come into alignment. We've got this majestic heart stone that has been birthed out of the earth here. And really things have shifted for me as I've taken all these intentions that I had in this circle and found the perfect place for them, found the perfect alignment for them. So today, a big piece of what we'll be doing is really working with that earth medicine, creating our sand paintings on the earth, taking something that is really ready to be shifted in our lives and putting that into a conversation with the earth, into a conversation with spirit, and creating that circle where spirit can come in and really infuse these objects with meaning, and we can open our hearts to that conversation and watch how things magically shift as we move them around within that circle and find the perfect place for them. And I use the word perfect intentionally, and that's part of the lesson I wanted to share today, and hopefully something that you can use right away in your life. Something that I call the mito de lo recto. I spent a few years working and living in southern Mexico, and a big chunk of my time was spent helping to start a community down there. So we spent a lot of time building, using natural materials and creating this ashram, this temple, this home, this community center. And each time we started a project, we had a perfect idea of what it was going to look like. We had these beautiful doorways modeled after the Mayan temples, and we were using bamboo, and we were using pine slats, and we were using something called otate, which is kind of a reed like a bamboo. And every time we had a perfect idea, and we would measure things out perfectly to the square, to the T, very meticulously. And still, because we're using natural materials and because the earth is the way the earth is and there is a divine plan in everything, our idea of perfection was never the result. And yet we were able to see and began to learn that, wow, that maybe the mito de lo recto is that there is this sort of myth that there is a perfect square out there, this theoretical geometric shape that exists in the ethers, and that really that's not what we find in nature. We find things that are square-like, we find things that are square, we find things that are circular, we find things that represent these geometric shapes, but always there's a little bit of a, uniqueness. Call it an imperfection, we could call it a uniqueness. And so an individuality. And so in this circle, as it was coming together for me, there were a lot of different places where you see these rocks. I had to fill in the gaps because they didn't match up exactly perfectly, but is there perfection there? Absolutely. So I invite you, as you're stepping into this new year and as you're making your plans, to look at those things that you have not completed because you're afraid that they're not going to be perfect. Look at those things that you haven't tried because you're afraid you're not going to be perfect at them. And accept that they have their own kind of perfection, and that you're perfect in your own perfect way, and that there's nothing holding you back except this theoretical idea of perfection. And so today, as we step into our medicine work, as we work with the earth, we're going to find that perfect alignment. And it may not be perfectly square if you brought out your measure, your level. But what's important is that we listen with our hearts and we find this alignment with the earth. There is a perfect alignment, and it may not be perfectly straight or perfectly square or perfectly round, but it is nonetheless perfect, just like you are. So I hope that this is helpful. We'll continue to send you little tidbits from this sacred center right here, and look forward to sitting in ceremony with many of you and with the rest of you. Hope that you have a beautiful holiday and enjoy this winter solstice, and get out there on the earth and work your medicine, because we need you to do that. Each of us needs to be doing that right now, connecting with the earth, activating those sacred points. Blessings to you.